Hi everyone, let's work on our hips today with tree and toe stand.
2 more postures left in the standing series. So by now, in the standing series, we've moved our spine in all 4 directions, and we've even twisted our spine a couple of times in standing bow as well as in triangle pose. So coming to these last 2 postures, tree pose and toe stand, you're really going to improve your posture and your balance. And this is where you're really going to focus on stretching, creating traction in your spine in both postures. Because once again, your body's really warmed up now. It's moved in so many different directions. Now we can really once again focus on lifting and stretching your spine up. So by improving your posture as well as your balance, obviously it's going to help you prevent slipping and falling. Especially as we get older. As we get older, we definitely lose a lot of our mobility, and that's why we're more prone to slipping and falling. It's also going to create space, so obviously it's going to help you breathe better because you're creating more space in your body, and also it's going to keep you more energized because your systems are working more efficiently. Whenever your systems are more efficiently, then you're going to feel better. You're going to feel more energized, you're going to breathe easier. By doing this posture, really focusing on it, obviously you're going to gain a little bit of height. I like to say that when I started yoga, I was 5 foot, now I'm 6'1". So maybe you're not going to grow as much as me.
Is it true even though?
But you're definitely going to find some length in your spine because you're not slouching. You're not walking around like this. You'll always be walking with a straighter spine. So you're going to look more confident. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to look taller because you're not always slouching. These postures are really good for the flexibility of your ankles, your knees, and your hips, as well as your foot. Tree pose is preparing you for lotus position, which is a really important posture for meditation. So I'll quickly, Eva, before we do tree and toe, I'll get Eva to demonstrate lotus pose. So ideally when you're meditating at home, you're in lotus pose. Why is this important? Because if you can cross your legs and you're meditating for a lot of time, what happens is the body kind of sinks. But when your body is in lotus pose, no matter if you fall to the side, fall back or front, your head's never going to fall down and touch the ground because you're in lotus position. And lotus position is actually preventing you from falling and hurting yourself when you're meditating and you kind of doze off. So the more you're able to open up your hips and tree pose and toe stand, it'll allow you to one day eventually in the future get into get into lotus pose. With toe stand specifically, it's going to help you develop tremendous amount of concentration and focus powers, especially patience. There's a lot of students out there that can't go into toe stand all the way down and they feel kind of defeated. But that's okay. It's teaching you patience. And as long as you're focusing on your destination, focusing one spot on the floor, 4 feet in front of you, and you're thinking about doing the posture one day. You're thinking about it. You're building the neural synapses, the neuromuscular connections that you need to do. So don't feel bad that you can't do toe stand yet. It'll eventually get there, but if you're trying the right way, you're still developing the tremendous mental concentration powers and focus abilities. All right? So now let's get into the key techniques for both postures. For tree pose, we always ask to grab your foot from underneath with your hand. It's never on the top. You grab it from underneath. That allows you to open up the shoulders a little bit more, and that really allows you to push the sole of your foot towards a mirror. Ideally, the sole of the foot is going to be facing towards a mirror. You're trying to bring your heel all the way up to the costume, beside your belly button. Every day you can lift it up a little bit more and lift it up a little bit more. You're trying to get your 2 knees in one line. So how do you do that? By pushing your hips forward and gently bringing your knee down and back to ideally get your both knees. You should feel a really, really nice stretch in your hip joint. Do you feel that, sister?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. All right?
If you look at it from the side too, and like Adam said earlier, this is right at the end of the standing series, so you still have to keep that same effort and work. So from the side, when you bring your leg up, sole of the foot facing the ceiling, like Adam said, you want to push your hips forward. Gently push the knee back, so both knees one day in one line. You're everything lifting up. So sometimes at this point in the class, you might feel a little bit tired, and we see people starting to slouch a little bit here. But really, the more you keep yourself upright, the more you're going to lift yourself up. So it's going to help you. If you keep lifting up, stretching up, then you get those awesome benefits. We also often will see people get into the posture, and then they're like, okay, ready. got my hands up, but right away the butt goes out so that the foot stays there. So rather than quickly holding it like this, not so stable, keep holding the foot, that's okay. Keep pushing your hips forward, gently push the knee back. This resistance, foot against the thigh, gently pushing the knee back, stretching your spine out. You're going to set yourself up for success this way so that, yes, one day you can let go without the foot slipping and lifting your chest up. Here I'm cheating a little bit with these long pants, but normally I have short shorts, lots of sweat, and still it can stay. It's resistance. It's that pressure, one spot on the other.
So I'm the one with the reconstructive knee surgery. I'm the one with a lot of sports injuries, bad ankles. So if you're struggling with this posture, this is a really good technique how to get in. So I'll demonstrate that. So really tight hips. So when you bring your leg up, Eva automatically goes for it. But you can bring your knee all the way up. So you hold one hand with your knee, and with the other hand, grab your foot and bring it up. You're still supporting your knee and you're still supporting your foot. As you bring it up, you're trying to bring your heel to the top of the costume. It comes down, be gentle, but bring it up a couple times. 1, 2, 3, and then slowly let it down. Once again, you're pushing your hips forward and your knee back. A lot of students, like Eva was saying, automatically bring their hands to the palms. But once again, what is this posture really doing? It's opening up your foot, your ankle, your knee, and your hips. So the moment this foot slides down, and you're trying to do this, you're no longer getting the benefits in your joints. So if your foot slides down, pick it up. Bring it back as high as you can. Heel, touch with the top of the costume, and then you're going to get maximum therapeutic benefits. Once you're here, you're keeping your knee locked. You're lifting your chest up. You're lifting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And you're focusing by always pushing your hips forward and knee back. If your knee is really up here, that's okay. Use your hand. Push your hand down, bringing your knee towards the floor and towards the back. Then you start really feeling that stretch in your hip joint. And that's what you're looking for, maximum therapeutic benefits. All right?
One thing I like to point out in this posture too is that your knee only goes one way movement. Back and forth, back and forth. There's no rotation. This posture is rotation in the hips. That's why it's such an awesome hip opening posture. That's why, like Adam demonstrated, bringing it up like this, then you move it because you've got so much more movement in your hips. You don't want to be cranking the knee uncomfortably. You want to lift the knee up so then you could twist in the right area, which is your hip joint. And then you're going to open up the hips beautifully. So I always like to remind people, hip opening, how? Because that's where the rotation is.
Yeah. And once the posture's over, if you feel tightness in your hips, your knees, you can shake it out a couple times, no big deal. And now you're ready for toe stand. So I'll get Eva to demonstrate toe stand. So toe stand is very similar to tree pose. A lot of students get scared about this posture. When you think about it and you practice about it as a teacher, I like to say this is like the lion that doesn't roar. It looks intimidating, but it really is not in. So before she goes down, your goal is to focus on one spot on the floor, 4 feet in front of you. Someplace around there. And you keep your eyes open, focusing on one spot. You bend your body down from lower spine. Once your hands touch the floor, you can still see Eva's legs are straight. They're locked, her knee's not bent. But once her hand's on the floor, now you can slowly bend the knee. Now your knee comes down safely. You bring your hands beside the body, beside your hip bones, and you start pushing your hands to the floor. Look how automatically her spine is straight. The straighter your spine is, it'll help you balance. The other thing that's really going to help you balance is getting your 2 knees in one line. Not all the way up like this. This opposite knee. There you go. This makes balancing really, really difficult. So keeping your spine straight, trying to bring your knee down to get your both knees in one line, pointing your toes back. Now if Eva brings her palms together slowly, and now you're creating that natural human traction once again, lifting your chest up, spine straight. Once again, the more parallel straighter your spine is, the more parallel your knees are to each other, the easier it is for you to balance. And you come out the opposite way you went in.
And like Adam said, this is like the lion that doesn't roar or whatever. I haven't heard that one, but that was awesome. It took me so long to do this because I was just scared. It was pure fear to go down. But really, if we think about it, we're not that far off the floor. So I'm going to do the demonstration to the side as well. Hands, palms together. You'll find one point on the floor. Keep your legs straight as you go down. So then you have your hands on the floor to protect yourself. Then you bend the knees. So you put weight into the hands as you come down. So nothing to fear there. You've got your hands there to protect you. Walk your hands back. Chest up. Spine straight. Left hand. Right hand. Using your legs to keep you up, using your spine, like Adam was showing you before. If the knees are coming up high, spine is going to round, and this is going to be incredibly hard to balance here. So you want to bring the knees down, spine straight, lengthening up.
Sweet. Nice form. So now for students that have trouble with their knees and their hips tight or injuries, it's very similar, right? You go into toe stand the same way you do tree pose. If your foot slips, it doesn't matter, wherever you feel comfortable. Eva can easily go down with palms together. I struggle a little bit, so I just keep my foot here, where it is, my hand here, and then this is where you are as your first aid. That's okay. You're bending your body down a little bit, and you're looking one point on the floor in front of you. Your leg is still straight, and you're bending your body down, you're bending your body down. This is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. You're developing concentration powers, and especially patience. Giving yourselves time. Looking down, one day here, one day here, one day here. Slow and steady. And some of you might feel a little bit stuck here, but what you can do is bring your body weight forward and fall into your fingers. Once your fingers are on the floor, you can bend the knee all the way down towards the floor. Once your knee touches with the floor, you can sit back onto your heel, and then you can bring your body weight onto your heel. And as you can see, my knees are not in one line. So as I bring my hands back, now I'm focusing on two things. Bringing my knee down and lifting my chest up. Trying to maintain a straight spine. Straight spine, and whether I bring my palms together today or not, it doesn't really matter, because for me, it's focusing on getting my spine straight and bringing my two knees in one line. And if you feel stuck, you can fall out just the exact same way that you came in, by bringing your knee down and forward, bring your hands to the floor, and if your hips are really, really tight, you can bring your knee out from here, or you can also try to come back the exact opposite way you went down. So right, it's nothing to fear. You just do the best you can and slowly build confidence in yourselves and what you're capable of doing.
Totally. So especially once we get close to the floor with toe stands, sometimes again we want to sink or near the end, but this really is about lifting up. The more you lift up, sometimes I say, think top of your head is touching the ceiling, then that's going to keep you up, that's going to realign your spine and give you that awesome balance that you're trying to find. So use what you have. Lengthen up instead of sinking down.
And stay focused in class. 2 postures, you're on Savasana. So make sure that you're giving an honest effort, staying present, not thinking about how wonderful it is going to be to lie down and do nothing. Stay present. Focus on form in these last 2 postures. Focus on your breathing. So energetically, they're both, once again, very similar postures. So for tree pose, primarily, you're learning to control your personal drama. We can't control anyone else, but we can always control how we react to situations. So you're learning to how to create a better life for yourselves by letting go of old drama. By opening up the pelvic and ankle regions, you're exploring your sexual relationships, allowing yourself to have more freedom and more creativity to express yourselves a little bit more naturally, never feeling stuck in a position. That's what allows you to open up your hips as well as your pelvis, as well as your ankle. Very important postures. Also, toe stand is allowing you to surrender into the posture, into the present moment, not anticipating change. This is what I was kind of talking about earlier. We get into toe stand, and right away we can't wait to get out of it because right away it's going to be savasana. So stay present, stay focused. And it's also allowing to release judgments of who you think you have to be or who you think you are. Just try to be the best version of yourselves. Just try the right way. And in the end, everything kind of finds a magical way to work itself out.
So with this posture, try to have some fun with it. Pretend you're a kid on a playground, coming down onto the floor. If the first time you took a step forward when you were a kid and you fell over and never tried again, take that same principle here. Fall, try, experiment, and move your body to see what it's capable of doing.
See you guys next time. I'm already getting into savasana.
Until the next time.